Hello, Aries Rising sign and sun. So let's get started with your yearly horoscope. So as I mentioned before, 2021 is the year of change and innovation. So I would like to start talking about where your North Node and the South Node is going to be placed, because those are the points in the chart which indicate something to do with your karmic road. And they are going to be falling in your third and ninth house axis. And the karmic nodes in the chart pretty much indicates the direction in life we should be taking. So the north node is more about obsession, and the south node is more about our comfort zone, which we eventually need to be walking away from. It doesn't mean we need to leave it entirely behind, but maybe we need to postpone things around it, or we just need to be having a balance between those two signs. So the south node is going to be falling into your ninth house, and which is talking about the fact that you need a lot more less focus on philosophical matters. It is not about thinking, and it is not about formulating an opinion. It is going to be the year where you need to use your practical skills a lot more. It is going to be about implementing what you have learned so far. The North Node is going to be falling into your third house, which is the house of learning. So it could indicate that you are going to be participating in some learning, some courses. You're going to be taking webinars because you want to be improving your practical skills. I might be actually seeing a lot more Aries Rising sign students next year on my foundation course. So watch out for that, because I would love to see you there. Third house also talks about friends and communicating your ideas, connecting with others. And pretty much this is the house of social media as well. So you might be more obsessed about socializing with others. You might want to start, for instance, driving. You might want to learn new languages, or even you might want to teach languages. If you have been obsessed with spirituality, then this is the year when you kind of have to stop studying for a moment and then trying to bring this down into the practical level. Ninth house is all about idealizing things, and the third house, which is the opposite from the ninth, is very much about bringing it down into practice. Um, and probably with an Aries rising sign, you need to be unapologetic and communicate your ideas harshly and bravely. This is the year of initiating new things for you. Third house pretty much talks about your skills. So this must be the year when you discover certain skills of yours and then start doing something about it. Also watch out for gossips and rumors about you. So if you are about to launch, for instance, a website, which is very much third and ninth and 11th house related, then don't take so much notice of people commenting bad things about your videos or about your social media channels, because it just kind of shows a certain amount of jealousy towards you. Um, these nodes are especially important if you have got planets placed in the third or the ninth house. Now, having the nodes in this axis means that you are going to be having solar eclipses and lunar eclipses happening in these houses as well. And solar eclipses, lunar eclipses are like full moons and new moons, but on steroids. So they are 3 to 5 times stronger than a normal full moon or a new moon. So what I recommend what I recommend doing is that check out when these eclipses are taking place and try to spend more time around your third house activities. By the way, I have put the dates on the screen so you will be able to see when they are taking place. Another important event of the year is the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, and I'm sure you have heard a lot about it. And it is going to be taking place in your 11th house. Now, this is an exciting period for you, Aries, because Jupiter's favorite placement is in the 11th house. That is what we call as planetary joy. If you wish to learn more about that, by the way, I've done a 3 hour lecture on it a couple of weeks ago, and I think it was brilliant. But what the Jupiter means for you in the 11th house is that you can meet beneficial people, advisors. You can even meet new friends, friends who are going to be changing your life in the next 20 years. Will this Jupiter Saturn conjunction bring you immediate change? Not necessarily. And Aries, you know that you are a go getter and you want fast results, but you need to learn a little bit of a patience as well. These two planets are very much about learning about patience and then aligning your goals. Think about what your long term goals are, what you want to achieve. And Saturn and Jupiter are going to be asking you the following questions. Are you on the right path? Who are you hanging out with? Do you have people surrounding you who want to stop you from developing, or somehow they are not necessarily serving your aspirations anymore? Um, and Saturn there wants you to concentrate more on your goals, on the details. Saturn wants you to kind of have a plan, have a vision board, write down exactly what you want to achieve this time and don't cut corners. Because we do need to be careful with Jupiter. Jupiter is the cutting corners type of planet. So it can take you a little bit away from your goals with your enthusiasm, with the advice it gives to you that, oh, you can start a different type of business. You can jump into 3, 4 things at a time, and it's just going to work out fine. Saturn is a lot stronger planet in Aquarius than Jupiter. So you do need to take a slow down and then probably having a little bit of a different approach to life than you have done so far. Saturn is telling you to be consistent and stick your guns to your goals and don't give up on them. See the light at the end of the tunnel. It is very much about your vision because 11th house does rule vision, but because Jupiter rules natally your 9th house, that is also the house of vision. That is something to do with your dreams. So even it could indicate that you need to be paying attention to your dreams because the dreams can have a predictive meaning for you. By the way, Saturn ruling your 10th and 11th house, these combinations together is a life-changing experience, especially around your career, what I want to achieve, what is the path for me. And it might just indicate for you that you need to implement your studies into your everyday life. Or for instance, if you have finished your studies, then you might want to start thinking how I can utilize that knowledge I gained in my work. For instance, you might be thinking about setting up a business. And I think it is actually particularly a good idea for you this year. But as I said, you need to be dedicated, committed to your ideas. Have your desire and put the energy, time, and effort into what you want to achieve. As I said, 11th house is a very futuristic house. It's the vision of the future, where I'm going, where I'm heading, and you might be guided by someone. 11th house is a popularity house, and because these two planets are going to be sextile in your rising sign, especially you've got a great chance to break the market, to break into the market. Between May and July, Jupiter is actually going to be moving into your 12th house. And Jupiter will be in its own sign in Pisces. So he is in rulership. It could be positive and it could be a little bit negative as well because Jupiter is leaving Saturn alone for a short period of time. Therefore, kind of Saturn is not influenced by anyone. And especially if you are a night chart, then Saturn can be a little bit more malefic than in a day chart. If you don't know what the difference is between day chart and night chart, then I quickly summarize it for you. Day chart is when the sun is above the horizon, when the sun is above your rising sign and the descendant line. And it's going to be a night chart if the sun is underneath the horizon. So basically the horizon is the sunset and the sunrise. The rising sign represents your sunrise and the sunset is the descendant. And it can be a little bit negative as well, because 12th house could be about losing the focus on things, going into some type of debates with others, which is completely unnecessary. And it also can indicate that your vision kind of gets blurry. So between somewhere May and July, I kindly ask you to focus more on what you have started maybe in January and then stick to your plan. By the way, Uranus will be squaring these planetary alignment in your 11th house from the second house. Especially, it's going to be taking place in February, July, and December. Now, second house very much talks about your financials, your resources, and even your confidence level. And it is very much about balancing out your practical side with your own dreams. 11th house is your dreams, second house is your practical side. And because this is going to be an aspect of square, square is a clashing energy. And it might indicate that you might be having some surprises in those areas. So around your financials. I do believe your financials can be slightly bit challenging. You might be a little bit more hectic about what to spend the money on, especially again, pay attention to that May to July, August period when Jupiter is going to be in your 12th house, because that is also the house of losses. Even though Jupiter isn't going to be in rulership, but we're talking about a magnifying glass. Jupiter is exposing anything and it makes it bigger. So you might be having some financial challenges that is holding back to achieve your goal, but this is a time when you're going to have to kind of find some benefactors or people who can advise you or help you how to achieve that. And because Jupiter rules your ninth house, it might be a foreign person. Whenever a planet goes through the second house, that planet becomes a source of money. So also think about what type of jobs Uranus indicates. It can indicate something to do with astrology, the higher mind, something to do with electricity. Mainly it is talking about intellect, something to do with a powerful mind. Uranus acts like a genius. So you can have brilliant ideas and you can implement them, but walk it around from every single angle. And very importantly, do it your own way. So you might want to set up your own website or your social media channel. This is extremely a good year to do so. When Jupiter leaves your 11th house, as I said, you need to be a little bit more careful, especially if Saturn is weak in your natal chart as well, and especially if you are a night chart, because you might be more prone towards loneliness around that period of time. And because Jupiter is going to be in rulership, actually, this is going to be the period of time when you need to be around people, when socializing should be quite important to you, connecting with people. And probably think about what type of clients, for instance, you want to achieve with the product you want to be selling, for instance. On the positive note, some of you Aries can have a great financial gain as well this year, because 11th house is the house of income, but you need to be innovative about it. You need to probably reconnect with your higher self, do some spiritual practices, and it's not necessarily just studies. You might want to start a new course or finishing up some of your studies which have been going on for a while. If you have got some visa issues or legal matters, then probably it might be the time when you need to put an end to them. You can even benefit through travels and short trips as well. You might be meeting some very important people who might influence your life in the next 20 years. Pluto is also playing a major role in your chart this year because it is going to be triggering your 10th house. And if you, especially if you have got your midheaven in the 10th house, or your midheaven is Capricorn, Capricorn midheaven around the 24th to the 27th degree, then it is a very transformational period for you. Probably there is going to be some changes in your career. If you have got your rising sign between the 24 to 27 degree, that Pluto is going to be playing a major transformational role in your life. It's going to be about rising above some of the challenges you might have experienced in 2020. As I said, because Pluto is also a psychological planet, some type of spiritual practices could help you extremely a lot. By the way, Mercury will be retrograde 3 times next year, and it will be also happening in your social houses. The social houses are something to do with the 3rd, 7th, and 11th house. And Mercury retrograde, which I put the dates again above so you can check them out when they are the most effective, they will ask you to reevaluate your relationships, not just the partnership, but how I relate to others, how I communicate with others, what type of communication sources and channels I use to reach people. So if you have been a little bit rigid in the last couple of years of only using, for instance, Facebook to reach out to people, then you might want to be thinking about different ways as well. This year is mainly about communication for you. What ways I do that? Who am I targeting? But the 7th house is going to be getting activated, by the way, by Saturn, Jupiter, raying a light onto your 7th house. And you're also going to be having Mercury running through your 7th house as well towards the second part of the year. So if you are not married, then this could be the year when you can pop the question, or you are pop the question, or you might need to be revisiting some of your relationship challenges. Am I in the right relationship? Do we need to go back to basics and talk out our problems if you guys have got any? Well, I hope this video helps you a lot to plan out your 2021. I have also made a video about how to plan your 2021, which is just a general guideline about the free hit transits. So I recommend checking those out because, of course, this is just a general overview, and that video might help you to figure out what gets triggered in your chart the most. If you would like to have a personal reading with me, then you will also find the link below. Thank you very much and have a blessed year. Merry Christmas, everyone. Bye-bye.